Good morning. How's everybody doing? This is George Gonzalez, your realtor with Wellsville Properties, coming back again with a Monday live stream with the coffee. If you're working from home, you probably need a bunch of these with kids. Anyways, today's video is going to be about the trend with rural and small town searches. So there was an article posted that was highlighting that it was a uptick by Redfin. They do a lot of data aggregation. So we'll go over some of the possibilities of why I think they are making this jump. All right, so that's what today's live stream is going to be about. Just stay tuned. Here we go. We're going to get started. And if you have any questions, comment below. Got to share the live stream. Pardon me. Got to get the share going. Okay, audio check. All right, so we've got basically what we have is rural small town, city living. So, I don't have a huge experience with rural living, but I do. I have some. And then I'm gonna say this is gonna be like rural slash small town. Okay. Then city living. Well, I don't have experience with that either. Grew up in the suburbs. The hard knocks of Sugarland Town West. Shout out to anyone watching from Town West. And if you are from there, that is definitely more on the fringe of Sugarland. Literally on the last street that you would classify as Sugarland. Just get a scope of where it's located, which is great for real estate because you get all the benefits with not necessarily the super increased values. So I mean, you get high values, but you don't have to pay like the premium, right? So what do we got here? The article is the rising interest in rural and small town real estate. I can't relate with that just because I like, you see it on TV. It's just kind of like glorified in a sense. So let us go to it now. And here we go. So this is a report by Redfin, and they highlighted this trend by late March. Right, they had an increase of 115% on searches. So this is all searches. With real estate data, can take months, if not several months to a year to actually see a hard trend. But this is what I see is so they had an increase in searches in small towns and rural areas. They also had a decline in sales pending, less of a decline in sales pending in small towns versus urban ones. So let's see here. Shine a bright light, one of the historic downsides of density. Yeah, so they're preparing for a seismic demographic shift towards smaller cities, which I can see that happening. I don't really, to a certain degree, see that in Houston. Home values have increased dramatically, especially in the city. A lot of development, a lot of growth has happened in the city. But I think there's going to be more reasons behind that. So, and this is a national report, so it doesn't always correlate to locally here in Houston, right? What else do we have here? Big focus on, or big searches we're seeing on populations less than 50,000. And then a Harris poll. 3 in 10 Americans say the pandemic makes them want to live in rural areas. 1 in 4 now want to live in the suburbs. And a separate Harris poll found that 40% of city dwellers are considered living in the city due to the pandemic. I can see that happening. So, what do I think this means? Well, basically what's happening here has been happening quite a bit in Houston. You would see a lot of, families that would move into the city and then move back into the suburbs just because of children. A lot of the homes in Houston, not a lot of them, but the newer homes that have been built are 2 and 3, even 4 level homes. And I can see that being a challenge with small children. I have children myself. I'm terrified of them going up or falling down 3 and 4 levels of stairs. And as a guy, I'm lazy. I don't want to take furniture up 3 levels. Oh, bed frame? No. I don't want to do that. So, what else do we have here? Okay. So I think this is good data to have. Let's see what else. Let's finish it off here. Better returns. No, I think that was it. So I think where that's really going to be an impact, and they actually had a previous report regarding this, was the fact that a lot of companies, including them, are going to allow their staff to work from home, right? So now real estate is going to be, I wouldn't say more important than ever, but I think the buyer's focus is going to may change. I think I did a video earlier, a couple months ago, on people wanting to, really their needs have changed, right? So maybe you want more separate living areas, maybe you want a bigger backyard. These are things that now are going to be more important now. More important now, because what you get here, from my experience as a realtor, what you usually have happen in the city, there's always exceptions to the rule, but more than likely, especially in the city, if your budget less than 500,000, things that will not be common will be a big yard. So I'm gonna put see what you get here. You're gonna get a small yard. You'll have parking, limited parking. Oh, look, my handwriting's looking pretty nice here. Let's go bigger here. There we go. And just depending on where you're going is smaller. Everything's smaller. Right, so smaller living area. So those are what I see common, and then it's more expensive. All right. So usually you're going to deal with a small yard, potentially no yard, limited parking, and what I mean about that, in the suburbs, you can easily fit 4 cars in a driveway, not including the garage, plus curbside parking. Limited parking, you're going to have maybe 2 spots of your own, which is your garage, and depending on if it's residential, if it's like a traditional ranch style house, you may have 1 spot, but it's in the city, so you may have certain hours that you can park there. And depending on your subdivision, if you have where you're sharing driveways, you're definitely not going to have more parking spots there. Just going to be whatever's in your parking garage, in your garage. Small living area, so traditional house in the suburbs, easily 1,600 square feet, 2,000 square feet, 2,500 square feet. You could find these houses at several different areas in the same budget. In the city, that's going to be way more expensive, right? And then, which leads to this, it's just more expensive. That's the things I see, right? And then from the rule, from experience, from what I gather from clients that I've helped in the past, is you're getting a huge yard. You're getting more flexibility. You're also gonna get bigger house. Okay, this is all depending on the budget, of course, but you have more value here, right? So value. And then what else? Less traffic. So let's break these down. So the huge yard is just land, right? It's a house for the price that you're paying here. You're gonna get a bigger yard. That's just the way it goes, you know. And depending on what town you're looking for, if it's a really small town, you know, there'll be older homes and they're built with big yards. Period. Just the way it was. You'll have more flexibility not only with your budget, but since you're going to be out in a small town, you may have an experience where the house doesn't have an HOA, and in that scenario, you can basically build to whatever you can get permitted. So you don't have to worry about, oh, you know, left my trash bins, I'm gonna get fined. If you want to fully customize your house and do a very nice upgrade, additions, build out things in the back, like you can do that. In the city, you do have this as well, but probably going to be more common here. And plus, you'll get a bigger house. You know, not only will you have a bigger yard, you'll have a bigger house, which then allows you to have more separate living areas or even accommodate for a study, an office, things like that. And then less traffic. If you don't have to go to work or you can work remote, then you don't have to deal with city traffic. You only have to go out for, you know, for your leisure or for necessities. You know, you don't have to go to work. That then is no longer a necessity. So what I think, again, I'm not the expert. This is only my take. Is that again, this is going to help spur demand in the suburbs. You know, Houston, for the most part, people are used to. If you hear something in the back, that's my dog. They are used to going for, you know, driving 30, 40 minutes, an hour drive. You know, it's a pain, but average, I would say my clients on average have about a 45-minute drive to their job. When that's kind of like the borderline of where they're considering, where should I move to? You know, living near your job has always been kind of a premium. You know, if you had the budget, great. If you didn't, then, you know, 30+ minute drive is not uncommon. So, sorry. What else here? So yeah, so I think it's gonna help kind of you know, maybe dampen the prices in the city or around the city. Also put a demand on land, which prior to this report has been increasing in value anyways. It just has been, you know, around here in the area, if you don't know, with a city that has substantial growth, comes a lot of development, a lot of developers buying up hundreds of miles of acres to develop in the future, you know, so which has left kind of a limited resource to buyers, you know. So if you're looking to buy a house with a big lot, they're probably going to be expensive as well, but you're getting more of what you don't have in the city. Hello? Get my screen back, please. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Technical difficulties. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for me. That's all I've got regarding that topic. And I forgot, should have mentioned this on Friday. Rates are still low, guys. They're creeping up a little bit. That's to be expected. A lot of activity has, a lot of demand has gone into applying for mortgages. So, don't let that discourage you. Doesn't mean that we're gonna go back up to like over 4-5%, which, if you didn't know, did happen towards the end of last year. But we're still under 4, low 3s, depending on the program that you get. Just also a heads up, I will be posting a video on how I believe 4 ways you can buy a house with 0 down payment. So keep a lookout for that. Again, this is George Gonzalez, your realtor. Thanks again for watching with Walzo Properties. Have a good one. Peace.